I have a list here with a flashlight and extra batteries. I have a flashlight. Is it bright enough? Where did I put the flashlight? I'm Simon Wilcox. I'm a singer-songwriter and also a lady about the town.
Trying to learn how to roll, because folding never works for these types of trips. I'm Luke McMaster, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Arguably the two most important things, my malaria medication and mosquito repellent. If I use enough of this, I won't need this, but...
My name is Damhnait Doyle, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Now I'm curled up in your side of the bed. I'm thinking about things you never said. I would have followed you to California.
I might just bring one pair of shoes, and I'm thinking I'd bring the pink ones. What do you think?
My name is Ian Dessau. I play guitar in Billytown. All set.
No war on the face of this earth is more destructive than the AIDS pandemic.
I don't wanna live my life in ignorance. People think it's safe to bleed in different ways. The people have to die. Isn't that hard to make a difference? All it takes is a little persistence. I think we should try.
I'm in Africa. I'm in Africa. I'm in Africa. We're in Africa. Okay.
Flying in on a single propeller plane that holds maybe, how many people, like 10 people?
We were like jam-packed in there. There was 10 people, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the pilot was really showing off for us, so he was flying so low.
Flying over the Great Rift Valley, I mean, you know, you hear about it, and to be able to actually be flying over it and see the view.
The altitude increases, you feel all this turbulence, and there was a couple people on the plane that were turning a few different shades of green.
I've never been, you know, so pleasantly happy to be kind of motion sick.
Really happy to see you.
We wrote this song, and part of the song is just a chant, and then I remember Ian saying, it just sounds like we're saying not so far away. It's so amazing to me that it would turn out that way, because a big topic of conversation on this trip is just that one life is equal to one life.
When I thought we were going to go visit a school, I was expecting, you know, a small school in the middle of a small village.
We were goofing around in the car.
Actually, I think we should do that all together in unison.
And we saw this brightly colored jumping shape.
So it's recording right now, so if you...
And we drove in going, oh my God.
This is unbelievable.
We realized that it was all the school children and that they were singing and dancing and making just this joyous, beautiful noise.
There were 400 or more people there.
I thought, wow, this is an important day for them. It's as important for them as it is for us.
They were so friendly, so welcoming. It was really amazing.
It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this particular special day.
I got shivers. It was like a whole event.
They performed for us like 2 hours. It was so amazing.
So we thought we had this like really great song, and then we came in and just heard this beautiful, beautiful song. We were like, I don't want to sing this song anymore. How can you go on after that?
They were all just so happy and so embracing. And I think that speaks a lot about the community and what's going on here.
I've never seen such pride, dignity, and contentedness on people. And I just love that we're able to see it on a personal level.
Well, it's a four-model approach to development in the area, and the first that you guys predominantly saw was school building, the physical structures that allow kids to go to school in a safe environment, a clean environment.
The way that Free the Children went about it is they went to the community and said, how can we make this better for you?
A big issue was the location.
This school it used to be right here. And we just passed a Lorraine swamp down there, which is like attracts so many elephants.
Which, coming from Canada, by the way, it's just, that would be unheard of. Sir, I can't go to school because there was an elephant migration path.
Yeah.
They're like, if you really want to help us, we got to move this thing.
We collect every single thing we can. We only leave rocks, like anything that is not usable. The young, the old, like really old people, they were all crawling to come up here because they couldn't believe. But the great day has come.
When you see those buildings and then everything else around are mud huts, it really shows you this is really making an impact on their lives.
The wind's blowing, there's dust in your face. I mean, look at the ground, and none of these kids just bat an eye. They just keep studying. They'll come 3 hours early.
They're just so excited to come 3 hours early.
Sometimes a teacher will be sick and won't be at school, but the kids will just wait there. When they finally realize, okay, he's not going to show up, some of the other kids will get up and just write down questions because they don't want to miss any school for any reason.
We were noticing that attendance was going up vast amounts and kids were staying the whole day, but girls were only staying for a period or two a day because they had a responsibility of getting water from the river.
I was amazed, first of all, because you're walking down a path that there's just tons of rocks. It's a really rough path. Most of the kids don't wear shoes. Usually they just run. They'll run straight to school and straight home, which adds up to almost 6 kilometers a day, and they don't think twice about it.
I know that they were told to boil the water first, but I saw a lot of the kids, they would drink half a bottle.
That is the problem. Even if you tell them now that water is dirty for human consumption, for many generations they have just been using it like that.
There's things like typhoid and all sorts of amoebites in the water and stuff like that, and it's really sad to see that.
We noticed that they have a much better water system right there at the school,
not only do they have water there, but it's rainwater, so it's way
rainwater,
cleaner
exactly.
than the water that they've been drinking.
So having a rain catchment system on campus allowed girls to stay in class, to have clean water, and it really affected their performance in school and the school community as a whole.
They've almost doubled the enrollment in a school, and mostly girls.
Education, liberation, I like you.
For us, going there and touching something that's tangible makes you realize that all the money that you're donating is really going towards, it's actually there, it's getting built, you know?
The short periods that we have been here, we have seen the performance improve. We have been able to take some children to national schools, so we have seen a lot of changes.
When I see those kids at that school, I think, right, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when these kids have kids, they're going to be completely different. And it speaks to a different sort of future for Africa.
They eat the vegetables, but sometimes the vegetables are having more problems.
Because of the drought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's this lady, Monica, who is such an amazing lady.
She's like the leader of pretty much like the feminist movement of this village.
She has a store where the women actually make beautiful necklaces, and they sell them. How much are those ones? Please.
So to initiate this group and get together and talk about issues that affect women, Monica started a soccer program.
After the women's soccer games, they have women's meetings. That's because the men feel less threatened by the women going and playing soccer and then hanging out afterwards than they do if women are actually going to meet to talk about changing their community.
After a while, the men found out, and now they're okay with it because they see that it's helping their families.
Sometimes 18 years are having 3 children. They start bathing in like 16 years, they have 1 child. 7 years, 1 child. 18 years.
Do they have access to condoms, and would they ever use them? Would they?
Is it
Or is it just like, because if they're laughing, yeah.
And they just started to laugh. It was just it was so outrageous to them.
After being there for an hour and everyone in the group talking about these issues, they started asking more and more questions, and you could see them opening up.
They say, once can we tell our husband so that they can agree to use condoms? Because they don't agree.
They can tell them that
they can no sex for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use condoms.
So do I.
I use them.
I use them.
When it's that type of subject, you just have to put yourself out on the line. And I was actually really hoping that they would see that there are guys out there that use condoms, even if it's some white guy from Canada. I mean, just to get it in their consciousness.
We kind of went in on a basic level and just said, you know, it's okay to talk about safe sex. We're talking about safe sex. That's what we basically did.
Yeah.
And it's an important baby step, I think.
So there's an example of a woman who actually understands what the community needs, who hopefully is getting some resources from an organization like FTC, and is then actually able to affect her community in a way that is socially acceptable and that is culturally acceptable. So she's an entrepreneur, she's a feminist leader, she's a soccer player, and she's a damn fine singer.
Here we are today at a VCT clinic. VCT stands for Volunteer Counseling and Testing, and basically they're doing a lot of good in this little community right here.
How many people a day usually?
Sometimes we receive more than 10 in a day. And sometimes we get 4 to 5.
It's a tiny place, but it's become a beacon to people in the community and in the surrounding areas.
The service is free to anyone who wants to know his or her HIV status, and they are being treated free with the ARVs.
I'm glad and shocked to learn that the ARVs are free. I wasn't expecting to hear that answer as opposed to a year ago.
So we have these other rooms, and I just want to welcome you. Before we go to the testing table, this is where we do the condom demonstration.
Rose, she's fearless. She believes so strongly in what she's doing. And she wanted to show us exactly how hard she's working to educate people.
To give you just to actually feel if there is an air inside. Yeah. If there is that air inside, then that condom actually is good to be used. And
you can tell she really felt like she was doing something that is very embarrassing to every single person who comes through those doors, but yet she's made a decision to carry it off with dignity.
Okay, this is the testing depot.
What's really cool is that the person gets to see the results on their own, and it's up to them whether they share it with their family, and it's so critical that they make people feel safe and comfortable to go get tested, and that's the only way that this problem is going to start to get reversed.
They've got the system down. It's like 45 minutes, man. You go in, you will know. Either have peace of mind or have a plan of action.
What do you guys need? What are you lacking?
Okay. There are those people who are HIV positive. They lack funds to take them to where they are going for treatment. Sometimes we support with our pockets. Sometimes we lack.
So even though the treatment's free, it's hard for people to get to the treatment centers.
We feel like, what are we doing? If we are testing these people, they're not going for treatment, we feel like guilty sometimes in our hearts.
The two people running it were so passionate about what they did. And
my desire, even in my heart, is to educate these people.
And you could tell just by listening to their stories that they went through a lot of personal experiences that ended up leading them to working in that field.
We had spent a little bit of time with Irene, and all of a sudden she opened up.
I had a brother who is HIV positive. I remember him telling me, are you going to hate me or to love me? Because I'm HIV positive. But then I told him, you are my brother and you'll never change from being my brother.
I think that was the first time she'd ever discussed that outside of her family.
And now he's a very strong man. You cannot even realize that he's so strong.
Hearing about Irene's experiences was just incredible, like so touching. Like those are the things that you really are going to carry with you forever.
the place was so beautiful, and then the people there were so friendly.
I think we made fast friends with a lot of the people that we interacted with.
I was kind of sad to leave.
We're just waiting for the plane to take us from the Free the Children camp in the Masai Mara, and we're heading to Kibera. My first impressions of Kibera were just being overwhelmed.
Wow, this place is so devastating.
The worst living conditions you could think of, the most cramped, the dirtiest.
The streets are made of fecal matter, garbage. That's what the streets are paved with.
There was a dead dog on the ground today. The same dead dog that was there yesterday. When you have 1 million people living in a 13-kilometer radius, what do you do with a dead dog?
How can this situation exist in the world? It's crazy. It's crazy.
For CARE to set up an operation in Kibera is a really, really strong move, and I think is really needed for that community.
We are doing a lot of capacity building for community-based organizations. So instead of care getting into Kibera and duplicating, taking over, we actually work with them and through them provide those services.
Maybe we have gone there, we don't have water. Sometimes you can use this one as water. We have condoms.
The people that have volunteered for the home-based care program, some of them live with HIV and some of them don't. They go to people's houses and get them through living with HIV in a positive way.
We went to visit a woman who was HIV positive but had lost the ability to walk unassisted.
Because if she can't walk like now, she has to urinate in the house to us and go for in the house. But
Now I know what it's like to lift a person who's twice my size. And it's really hard, even with a specially designed lift and a commode chair. The AIDS patients that they help call the women mother. Thank you for helping me, mother. This is my mother. She feeds me.
One thing we've noticed this whole trip, people here are very giving. They want to give back, and they don't take for granted things that were given to them.
I think education is one of the key components that we focus on. In more ways than one, it opens up small children to face life.
What do you think of boys? I agree.
And every day to get to that school, they have to walk through that slum. When they get past that gate, I bet you they feel happy that they're at that school.
We started it on the street, rehabilitating the street children. Going to the street, sitting there with the children on the street, talking their language.
She started a school by herself. She hired teachers and paid them out of her own pocket.
I asked, why are we not doing anything to these vulnerable children? But nobody could listen, so it is like a torture for me. Because it
you took it into your own hands.
To my hands, and it costed me even my job. We are also going to grow tomatoes for sale, and we are going to start the milk goats so that we can sell the milks, and whatever we get, we'll always sustain ourselves.
She's living in a slum, and she's finding it within herself to help these kids because she sees how much they want to learn and be like any other normal kid.
What would you do with them? You don't want them to be in the cold. You have no school of your own, so you have to gather them and do something for them.
I told her, I looked at her, I'm like, you're an absolute hero.
I alone, with my compassionate heart, I cannot do it alone.
Feel welcome. Now we want to begin the occasion with a prayer.
I had the opportunity to spend some time with one of the kids. Her name was Faith.
She's 14 also? Yes.
She was really shy when she first came to the care offices, but she and I walked the whole way, and we chatted about everything from boys to music to, you know, what she wanted to do for a living.
I'd like to be a journalist.
A journalist?
Yeah.
Well, this is your first job.
That's great.
She wants to visit Australia and Canada. She wants to be something. What else do you learn in school?
We learn about HIV and AIDS.
Okay.
You know, most of the population in Kenya are infected by that disease. If you are not infected, you are affected.
Yes.
No.
Wow. She's incredible, but so was every other kid we saw today.
In front of you is Helen Dugu from Baraka Zaitun, ready to present for you a poem entitled Stop Stigma and Discrimination. Welcome.
It was like she was giving a presidential address. There was so much pride and she had so much composure.
Let us say no. Say no to discrimination. Forward ever, backward never. Together we shall fight stigma and discrimination.
She doesn't have a mother, she doesn't have a father, she doesn't have any brothers or sisters.
It's not like she knew them and they passed away. She has no idea who her parents even are.
And she was living on the streets of Kibera for probably a few years before she was found and taken and brought into the school.
Sharing beds, eating together, sharing clothes, and playing together. Please, don't point at them. Thank you.
People at this school have found her and thrown her a lifeline, and she's thriving.
like insane amount of talent.
Yeah.
At such a young age and with so little to work with. What is CARE doing here?
Oh, I wish you could come here before the CARE came in. You cannot count what much they do because it can only be seen in the children.
Before CARE came in, those kids wouldn't have the strength to dance. They've been sharing so much with us, we just wanted to share something with them. So we started singing the song to them.
Wrote that song about rural Kenya. So my first instinct was, we're in Kibera, feeling a little far away. And then I was like, no, we're not, actually.
They made it sound so beautiful. And the smiles on their faces, they were loving sharing that moment with us.
Even though we're from Canada and they're from Kenya, that's one of the closest bonds we have together was music.
That moment epitomized why I would ever even dream about doing music.
That was incredible.
Fantastic. One of the greatest moments of my life.
There were 1 million kids there who were diamonds in the rough. You just want them to sparkle so that they can help their own community.
It's about empowering leaders who actually understand their own culture, who can take the best of what we have to offer, and those people will heal their own country.
They're not asking for a handout, they're just asking for someone to come alongside them and just give them support.
Now that I've seen it firsthand, but seeing CARE and Free the Children operate, kids having a better life, and people living with AIDS getting help, you see how much good is happening over there and how much good they've done.
It's a personal, situation now because these are people you've come to care about and love, and you worry about their safety.
Back then, even, we had to have security guards, and now watching it and people are burning people's homes and the violence, the amount of violence there really kind of shocks me.
I don't think you can blame people for being frustrated when you're living in a country where you don't have what you need in order to survive.
We all knew that it was a tinderbox when we went in there and kind of saw what was going on and the frustration in the people. And so it wasn't, like I said, really upsetting, but not a huge shock.
The people who are going to have to rebuild Kenya once again will be the people who we met all along the way.
Nobody's going to go in and fix it. The Kenyans have to fix it. They just need help.
Even just the smallest thing can start leading you down a path where your life and what you do can make a huge difference in someone else's life, even if it's continents away.
Come, quickly. Okay, you're gonna rap and walk. You're gonna walk. You just look at the camera.
Don't walk too close to me.
Okay.
Only rap, not chorus. Only
just rap. Just do it.
Sema moja mbili tatu mimi naruka kama tatu akili yangu fat kama soli ya kiatu. Mimi nikirap na wewe una clap kwa sababu unajua kazi yangu chap chap. Nilienda Dubai nikashika na mapa. Kalia high high. Madam kaniteka kama tali kanika nibidi ni wa ushina shilingi mbili.